Guys, you'll never guess what we're going to be adding to our upstate South Carolina backyard vineyard today. That's right, more muscadines. Hopefully you'll join us throughout this video and find out exactly which varieties we're going to be adding. I can almost promise you there's at least one that one of you has been looking for, because I've been getting messages nonstop for at least the last 2 years of how can I get this muscadine. And guess what? We've sourced one and we're going to be planting it today. So y'all stick around as we get to today's video. Dean Family Acres. All right guys, so we're gonna get some muscadines added up here in the upper vineyard. We'll kind of talk about what we got and how excited we are to be adding some of these varieties to our place. All right guys, we're borrowing a little red wagon to get some soil up here to amend a little bit. And while these muscadines are soaking, since they got mailed to us, they were bare root, I'm gonna try and soak those, make sure they get up as much water and nutrients as possible. We'll get these holes ready and we'll bring those muscadines out and plant them. All right guys, so we're out here with our row with the fry, the late fry. On the end, we've got a Supreme Black Beauty late fry. This late fry has been struggling, so what I'm going to do is plant one of these right next to the late fry vine. This is its last warning. And I also was kind of thinking about it, and I think I want to do a black variety or dark purple variety here on this row, so that whole row is nothing but that. So I'm going to dig these holes, at least for this one. Then we'll talk about the next one, and after we kind of get these holes dug and amended a little bit, we'll talk about varieties. Oh man, out of breath. Get lazy over the winter time. All right guys, so we got this hole dug out and amended just a little bit, not a lot. And again, that's right next to this late fry. You can see the late fry here. This thing was planted in 2022. It's grown about 3.5 feet down this way and about 1.5 feet that way. And we pushed it hard with fertilizer last year. Just didn't do anything. We'll let it keep growing, but we're gonna put another variety right here next to it, and we'll see how it takes off and go from there. All right guys, so we had to come back out here today because we had a slight delay yesterday, which is thankfully everything's fine, but a little concerning yesterday. All right guys, so we're going to talk varieties here. We were able to find a couple of different varieties that have been super hard to find here lately, and we're super excited about being able to do that. First of those is a Supreme. Everybody's looking for Supreme. You can't get them from Bottoms, you can't get them from Isons. How in the world you get them, that's my little secret, but I'm just very thankful that we were able to source one. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna put that on the same row as our Supreme Black Beauty. Supreme will be the third one there. So it'll alternate those. Those are all be females down that row, and they'll all be big black berries or fruit. So that'll work really, really well as we get the Supreme there. That's where late fry has been. Again, we're just gonna put a Supreme right next to it and let it grow. If that late fry keeps going, then maybe we'll move it. But it has been so slow. This year, at year 4, this thing should have been down the line producing all that kind of stuff. So I kept saying probably the last 2 years that is this the last year, And it's still not the last year, but we are going to put something next to it so that we can start using that space a little more wisely. And that's going to be a Supreme. So you might be thinking, what are you going to put on that row with the sweet mix and the Pam? Well, we got a couple different options, and we're kind of debating on which one we're going to do. And I would encourage you, just stick around to make sure that you can find out exactly what we're going to put on that row, because I can promise you it's going to be well worth it. How about the roots on that Supreme vine? Absolutely crazy. I do believe we're going to try our best to make 2 vines out of this one. So I want to make sure and keep those roots damp. All right guys, so hopefully you were able to see us getting this Supreme vine planted here on the row next to our late fry. And I'm just gonna get some more soil to kind of cover here, and we will, I know there's always the debate on using any kind of mulch, that kind of thing. I personally think, you know, you wanna be careful of that. You don't want those roots growing up into the mulch, but especially that first year as those roots are getting established, you're trying to conserve water, those kinds of things. A little bit of mulch isn't going to hurt anything. Just don't make it super thick. Those roots can grow up into that mulch, and you can end up with a mess whenever it comes time for cold weather. And those roots are going to be shallow. They're going to be in something like mulch and not in your soil. So just think forward with that as you're planting. I did forget the mycos on this one. That's okay. We'll just kind of make note of that, and if we can tell any difference, we can. You might remember there's not much topsoil over here, so trying to keep as much as we possibly can. All right guys, we're on this second row here, and you can see running down, we've got a Pam and a sweet mix here. We're gonna replace the fry seedless that we air layered a couple years ago that didn't make it last year. It died back, and you'll notice we also have our wire up here. If the video on this trellis hadn't come out yet, it'll come out soon. If it has come out, then it's right up there. Trying to juggle everything, keep everything organized as the best we possibly can. So we're about to get the other hole dug real quick, and then we'll get rolling and talk about what varieties we've got added. All right guys, again, a little bit of compost of some form, whatever you got. I just happen to have mushroom, and then that pine bark soil conditioner. If you have hard clay soil, you definitely need some of that just to help with drainage, but you want it to be a majority of your native soil. Some people say don't even amend at all. Completely up to you, personal preference. All right, getting this mixed in. So you might be thinking, what are you going to put on that row with the sweet mix and the Pam? Well, we got a couple different options, and we're kind of debating on which one we're going to do. And I would encourage you, just stick around to make sure that you can find out exactly what we're going to put on that row, because I can promise you, it's going to be well worth it. So some of y'all might be wondering exactly what variety is it, Matt? You've held us out this long. You can tell us what you're going to be planting. We want to know what you're planting back there. And in all honesty, I just can't believe that I actually was able to find one of these vines. And it's just been it's been a journey. I'll just say that. So very thankful to be able to have one. And be able to promote this variety, because I've had multiple people asking me for the last at least year, if not two, hey, how can I find one of these? And if you think you know what it is, comment down below, because I'm sure that some of y'all are probably itching to know for sure what it's going to be. You know what I'm itching to do is have all the projects done on my to-do list. So thankfully we got all those muscadines pruned. We've gotten up another trellis there this winter. Still need to work on water though. If you hadn't noticed, this row right here does not have water yet. So I have to work that out in some form or fashion. I think I've got enough drip. If not, I need to get some for my blueberries anyway. So we'll be working on possibly ordering that for this row right here. All right guys, so I got those 3 holes dug. We're gonna double them up here on this row with the sweet mix and the Pam. It just is what it is. If you kind of start thinking about your space, how you want to do it. And Mr. Paul Spivey down in South Georgia kind of taught me that. He has tons of muscadines, and he's got some double planted. If one dies, you're still good. And so I kind of spaced those a little bit tighter, but that's okay. The variety we're gonna put there is not overly productive. So I think as a whole, it'll work out pretty well. Let's talk a little bit about varieties and what we got as we continue to let those vines soak. I want to let them be in the water for at least about an hour. Well, we're planting Majesty Muscadine today, and we're super excited about that. Thanks so much for joining us. That's right, guys. We're going to be doing Majesty Muscadine here on this row. And a couple things about Majesty. They are actually a variety from the University of Florida A&M, and you can't find them hardly anywhere. Very tough to find them, so we're very thankful that we found some. Another thing just to remember is that you know, they usually don't produce a whole lot. So yes, you get some, you know, monster size fruit, but you aren't going to get a ton of them typically. So you kind of just want to think about that. You know, having the novelty of something being huge oftentimes does remain reduced number of fruits. It is a female variety, so remember you got to have a self-fertile nearby. For us, we've got a whole row of Ruby Crisp here, and those are self-fertile. So at least for right now, pretty much anything on this end, I believe, will be pollinated by Ruby Crisp. So let's tune in and see exactly how we get these in the ground. All right, guys, so we're gonna put the bigger vine here on the upper side just because of the amount of space we got. I think we can always train it out, but let's get it in the ground. Didn't forget the Mycos this time. Yes, this is enough Mycos to last me a lifetime. All right, looking good. All right, guys, so we got one Majesty in the ground, and as with any of these, as soon as you get them in the ground, as soon as you can, you want to water them in really, really well. You want to keep those roots good moist. Much later than I would say early April, you don't want to plant these bare root at all, and preferably the earlier the better. There is a balance there between, you know, that winter cold that you might have in your place and, you know, when you can actually get a hold of them. But I would just kind of think through that as you're planting. Plant them super early. Sometimes they work, sometimes they don't. Sometimes you have to give them extra protection. So just kind of remember that as you're kind of working through. All right, guys, so now all we're doing is watering things in, and we've got this Majesty vine planted. So we're super excited about adding one of these. We've been looking for them for quite some time and very thankful we were able to find one, actually two, and hopefully at least one of them will make it. That's our goal, and we'll keep you guys updated in regards to how this Majesty's doing. If you've never seen our UGA Tifton tour videos, I would encourage you to go check those out right here. That's where we were first exposed to Majesty, and I mean, they make some whoppers if you've never tried them before. So I would encourage you to check out those videos, and we will see you next time. So it is what it is, and this is what we've ended up with, and thankfully each and every one of y'all have joined us to the end of this video. Hopefully you've enjoyed it. I know we have. It's gone really, really well to be able to get these in the ground and be able to enjoy, hopefully, some fruits of our labor this year as we have more and more things starting to produce. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, guys. We greatly appreciate it. We're pushing hard to trying to get 5,000 subscribers by the end of 2026. We've made some good progress, honestly. I've been super excited. So don't forget to stick around and see what else is to come. And if you want to do that, you got to subscribe. So until next time, y'all have a good one, and we will see you next time.